Yes, welcome in one and all. This is the Full 10 Yards at Betting podcast. Week 9 is on the horizon, and we also have the second spate of international series games to get through. So we'll be covering that as Liam's Kansas City Chiefs host the Miami Dolphins. And Adam's Cincinnati Bengals are on Sunday Night Football. So lots of primetime action for the boys on the podcast tonight, and got a nice little Dallas Philadelphia on 9:25 as well. So lots of juicy games to get involved with. Welcome you in, boys. Adam, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna stay up for Sunday night. It's the first kind of late night I've had to do with my new job. So luckily it's kind of flexi hours, so I can go in a little bit later on the on the Monday if I need. But yeah, it'll be the first one because I didn't bother staying up for Rams Bengals on the Monday night.
Yeah, shame it wasn't last week because obviously it'd been 12:20 rather than the 1:20.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, that would
when
have
you
been
first
very useful.
started that sentence, I thought you were going to say I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to stay up for tonight's game, and I was just like, well, it's the Steelers, so it's quite an easy pass for you.
But it is 12:20, so at least they shoved the Steelers versus Titans again, a primetime game where I have no idea why the hell they selected it, but
Well,
that's what
everyone's
they've been
got to
doing.
play. Everyone's got to play a Thursday night game, haven't they? So
I know, but but that one, yeah, it was. I don't think even prime Titans and Steelers would have been a good game. So yeah, I can't imagine it being great.
yeah, well, Kenny Pickett even tried to make it. Yeah, he's going to be available for you if you wanted to watch it, but never mind.
Yeah, we'll
Liam,
get
you
into that in a
are
minute.
well, yeah, exactly, yeah. Liam, you are travelling to the lovely city of Frankfurt on Sunday. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be good. Yeah, I'm going late Saturday, so I'm going to miss some of the Saturday afternoon festivities. I've seen a boat going around with loads of Chiefs players.
The championship.
Yes, which you can have a boat party on the day, which I'm going to miss out. But yeah, I'm excited. Should be good, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Can't go much worse than last weekend in theory. So,
oh, mate.
Yeah. At least my betting picks were all right last week. That was the only thing that saved me. 'Cause other than that, I was ready to jump off a cliff. So.
Yeah, lovely little segue there. Yeah, you were the best performing pundits, should we call it? I don't know if we can call ourselves pundits, but yeah, 4 out of 6 for you, 3 out of 6 for me, and 2 out of 6 for Adam. But Adam did get the nice Kincaid. I think we mentioned it last week, didn't we, Adam? Kincaid at 5-2 anytime touchdown scorer was one of the standout bets. So yeah, whilst you only got 2 out of 6, your profit and loss was not too far away from ours, and I haven't worked them out. So I mean, we're I think overall we're overall about even money for the week. So
yeah,
can't be sniffed at. But we've got another full week of some bye weeks, obviously this week. So yeah, let's get straight into that absolute classic for Thursday night football. Tennessee Titans traveling to Heinz Field for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers 2.5 point favorites over under here, a whopping 36.5. Adam, as you're such a Pittsburgh Steelers enthusiast, we'll start with you.
Let's be fair, the only reason to watch this game is because Will Levis is there. Like, he's the only thing that is possibly going to be entertaining in the whole game, I think. Obviously, Kenny Pickett went out last week and is being a hero and playing through it because he's the thing that keeps the Steelers running is Kenny Pickett on the offense. No, it's going to be a very heavily defensive game. The Steelers have. I think the reason I dislike them even more is that they never look like they should ever win games. Like their defense keeps them in it for 3 quarters, and then they figure out how to do a little bit of offense in the fourth quarter, and that seems to be their role for every single game. I don't agree at all with NFL Total Access, who have gone for Steelers win. All 4 of them have gone for Steelers win. I don't think they've obviously seen them this week, which is a little bit weird. But no, it's not going to be a thriller. Obviously, Will Levis lobbing the ball down the field. I think he had 3 of the longest touchdown passes all year and he nearly had another one, I believe, last week. So he's definitely got an arm on him, and DeAndre Hopkins is there again this week. Obviously, he'll be better covered. Minka Fitzpatrick, I assume, is missing out. I think he did his hammy last week, so that's a blow to their defense. And the Steelers, from what I believe, are trying. Well, last week they put in more youth. They put in Joey Porter, who got killed on a load of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how they go on defense. But yeah, it's not one I'll be staying up for. But I am hoping. I know this is a trap. This is very much a trap. Is Will Levis over 1.5 touchdown passes is my bet this week because it's 2-1. Like, I know it's a trap. I know that that's terrible odds. Actually, no, sorry, that's completely wrong. That is good odds, and that's why I'm going to back it. Is because 2-1 for anyone in the in the professional National Football League
You saying the Premier
to
League
throw.
then?
I was going with professional, and then it merged into that. Anyone in the NFL, any quarterback can throw 2 touchdowns in a game.
Well,
They can be 1 yards.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's more likely to do Minka Fitzpatrick back there. I think they're getting Cam Hayward back tonight as well.
Yeah.
So easy come, easy go, as they say. Yeah, like I say, it's not going to be a great one. I was just having a look to see what prices the defenses were for any time touchdown scorers. But I mean, even at that lower line, like I don't really see anything other than just defenses kind of on top, and unless Levis. I mean, I don't know. I think this is one of those games where it could be really, really low or like actually quite shockingly high. But I'm not quite sure. Thursday nights never lend themselves to execution on offense being at a high level. So I probably tend to lean to the former. But defense and special teams, anytime touchdown score for Pittsburgh 6-1, and Tennessee 7-1. So I wouldn't be kind of being put off those. I would probably take. I don't mean 2.5 lines pretty. I mean, I always take Pittsburgh Steelers at home. I suppose I've got to take the Steelers minus 2.5. But I mean, that would. I think if you had a gun to my head, even pulling the trigger would actually be an option there. But I don't condone that. I don't condone that. But it's not really a game that I can call. So it's just one of, like say, even fantasy implications. Not many people are going to be looking and checking all their sleeper leagues to see how many points they got on Friday morning, are they? So, but the one bet that I picked out was Jaylen Warren over 19.5 receiving yards. He had 19 last week. Obviously, which would obviously be a loser, but and then -1 the week before. But then I think the 4 games prior to that, he had the overs, and I think considering how good kind of the Titans defense is, and I think they've got a decent run defense or a decent defensive line, so I think you could see quite a lot of dump off passes to Jaylen Warren, and they're going to do that more to Warren than they are Najee Harris. And I thought 19.5 was a decent line to get over. So, I mean, he's not Austin Eckler, but he's looked quite good receiving out of the backfield. So I thought 19.5 is easily obtainable, and it's kind of the way I was going to attack this rather than trying to find a touchdown scorer or go overs or unders or to find a win. I feel like it's more of a prop game in this one, especially with Kenny Pickett banged up and Will Levis coming in, so we're not quite sure what we're going to get. But Liam, what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, 33-1 for no touchdown sounds quite fun to bet if you were going to stay up and watch and just pray for awful football. Yeah, I'm similar to you guys in terms of not really knowing what to expect. It does feel like with Will Levis, it's either going to be a 40-yard completion, the worst, most incomplete pass you've ever seen, or a 1-yard run for Derrick Henry at times with how it looked last week. So, yeah, it's a very hard game to call. So I'm similar to you. I wouldn't be actually probably betting it. I don't hate the Titans' money line rather than the spread.
Yeah.
But I just think it's just too risky, really, to bet. I always normally bet for the Titans because of the coach, but they're going against another coach who seems to get bad teams to win football games. So, yeah, I think it's one to kind of stay away from that perspective. My best bet is I've gone for one of the requested bets on Sky. So it's Derrick Henry and Najee Harris to have 50 rushing yards each. I think they're both going to get so many attempts that start on the 20 that even if you think it's a low-scoring game, they might get to the 50 and then punt, and then we're just happening all night long. So I think that's a pretty good bet. It's 13-8. So I think they're going to rely on them a lot, especially if Levis does start quite poorly, because then Vrabel will just turtle up and just say, we're just going to have to run the ball all night and hope our defense can stop them. So, yeah, I like that. If you are a Will Levis believer, I think Hopkins' line, which I think is 50... what is it? So it's 4.5 receptions, which I like the over, and 54.5. If you think Levis is good and can throw the ball down the field, he's throwing it to Hopkins. So I think the line is if Tannehill was going to play, whereas I think with Levis, he's more likely to chuck it down the field. So, yeah, I don't mind those either.
Yeah, Tajay Spear over receiving yards, 14.5 as well. It's not too bad. But I didn't have a look. I haven't had a look at what his. I don't know what his receiving lines have been for the last couple of games, so I can't give any context to that. But that seems quite low as well.
I normally go for Derrick Henry over receiving lines now. It was 9.5 last week. He went over that. It's 12.5 this week. So I don't mind either of the running backs, frankly, I should say.
Yeah, but yeah, not so. Derrick Henry is over 11.5 on Sky Bet as well. So
I don't know.
Every yard counts. Every yard counts, fellas. Right, let's move on then to Sunday. No, the Germany game. Let's say Liam will be in attendance. So anyone out in Deutschland, go and say hello to him. But they are. I've got the handicap the wrong way around, so that's good. Kansas City are 2.5-point favourites. Kansas City 2.5-point favourites, 4 to 5 on the money line. Over under here is 50.5. I think that's the highest of the week, if memory serves me correctly. But yeah, it's good to at least you're going to see potentially a very good game. Both offenses should be not necessarily far on all ceilings because no one watched you watched Kansas City last week, but on paper, Liam should be. Well, obviously you're going to go for a Chiefs win, aren't you? Because you're just as bad as Jack was on doing Dolphins and Tua. So
Jack sometimes would bet against them if as well though, whereas I'm not don't do that very often. Yeah, I don't know if we're allowed to choose this game as a best spread because it's not the 6-9 p.m. slate, but I did choose Chiefs -1.5 as my best spread. I think it will be a pretty fun game. It is the highest total. I think the Bengals game, which we'll talk about next, is the second highest. So the primetime games should be shootouts, which should be quite fun. I don't really know what to say about last week's performance. Kind of everything went wrong that could go wrong. But this is the number 1 offense in the NFL versus number 5. So in theory, that total should go smashed over. But I think all it takes is a couple of turnovers from one of these defenses, and it becomes a little bit difficult to score that number of points on the road because international series games don't normally start off fast. Like, it wouldn't shock me if there was 2 punts in the first 3 possessions just for these two teams. Then maybe in the second half you start seeing them score. But yeah, there's some good bets that I like. I think the spread is good. I think the over 50.5 is okay, but I don't think I would bet it. I'd
probably bet overs in play if it starts slow.
Yeah, so would I. Because it actually was 51.5. It was 51.5 2 days ago and 52 the day before that. So it is coming down as well. So if you get 49.5 on the day, there's a chance that you could go over. But yeah, I'll be looking at all sorts of Kelsey props. I think Tyreek Hill props is one I think a lot of people would do, but I think that Waddle's probably the one for people to do. Chiefs are very good against number 1 receivers, but that normally means the number 2 receiver has a lot more time and space. So I do think Waddle overs should be quite good. And I'll be trying to find some sack totals as well because Virgin Bet does some, and Tua's is always really low because they get the ball out so quick. But Spags is obviously a bit of a blitz-heavy maniac. So I think there could be some sacks. But yeah, Chiefs -1.5 is my best bet. I think Patrick Mahomes could go nuclear in this game just because he likes to do that in games where people think the other team are going to win. So yeah.
First half match points, 24.5 is the line, 5 to 6 the pair. But you've got one that sticks out to me a little bit. Fourth quarter total points. What would you put the line at?
13.5.
Who?
So, yeah. What was that?
It's 13.5, yeah. So I'd probably take the over on that, maybe.
Yeah, I'd take the over on that as well. I'd take the under maybe on the first half points from what you said there.
Yeah. That's the way I was leaning. Go under 24.5 points. What's for let me just get first quarter
10
total
points. 10 points. First
quarter. 9.5 first quarter total points. That seems quite low. So I'd go probably under on the first half points and then over in the fourth quarter 13.5. So yeah, there we go. Adam.
Yeah, I love the Chiefs on the spread this week. The Dolphins have played 2 good teams this year, and they've been terrible against both. So coming up against their 3rd good team of the season, then there's only one way I can go on it. And Chiefs, it was -1.5. It's now 2 at Bet365, so it's all over the place because obviously we've got 2.5 at Sky Bet as well. So yeah, it's all over the shop. But I think the Chiefs have not going to say a comfortable win because I'm surprised their offense is number 5. Is that DVOA?
Yeah, DVOA and EPA per play as well.
I was going to say because points scored obviously hasn't been as explosive as previous years, but their defense has stepped up, and yeah, I think I'd probably lean under on the total overall, but I do agree with you guys that starting slow and finishing fast is probably the way to attack the total. I don't believe I had anything for this one, so I'll go with over fourth quarter points as my bet for this one if we're doing one.
Yeah, who was it? It was moaning that they had to get some babysitters for their dogs or something. It was I can't remember who the player was. Someone was moaning that they had to get some dogs.
And if anyone else needs a babysitter for their dogs in the Basingstoke area,
yeah, absolutely. Free advertisement. Absolutely.
Was that a Chiefs? Was that a Chiefs player? Was it Mona?
Yeah, Marcus Valdez-Scantling. He says, "Yeah, it sucks. I've got to find a babysitter for my dogs for a couple of days." Marquez, come here, mate. Come here.
Well, actually,
fly me out to wherever it is you live, and I'll more than happily do
it. He can just stay at home with how he played last week. I'm fine with that. He can just stay at home and look after his own dogs. By the way, Rashee Rice's line's gone up now to 45.5. It was 38 last week. I still quite like 45.5. He's playing really, really well and getting the ball more every week. Last week was a bit of an anomaly for the whole offense, but Rashee Rice, his touchdown number's gone down now though. So yeah, but I don't mind his over on yardage.
7-4 for any time.
Yeah, he's also under over 4.5 receptions. That seems quite tad high, but
Kadarius Toney 11-2 now.
I'll be betting it.
we know you will.
We know you will be. Right, let's move on to Adam's team then. Sunday Night Football again. It should be an absolute belter. Buffalo Bills are the visitors. Bengals 1.5-point favourites. I suppose when it's kind of a coin flip, you have to give someone over a minus and a plus. But 8-11 on the money line for the Bengals, 49.5, as Liam said, the second highest total of the week. Adam, we'll start with you as it's your Bengals.
Yeah, if you saw the highlights from last week or watched the 49ers game last week, then it looks like Joe Burrow's back. There is no way in hell he should have got out of one of the sack attempts at the start of that game, and he did, and he tore them apart. He had 19 completions in a row, his personal best, against a pretty decent defense. So going up against a Bills beaten up defense, I think I'm weirdly confident, and it's obviously not a place I like to be. So if you look back at last year, obviously the Bengals would have beaten them in that regular season game, had someone not literally died on the field, and then they beat them in the snow in Buffalo. So I'm pretty confident of the Bengals winning this week. It's quite interesting. There was something about Gabe Davis. Apparently they were doing like his average depth of target was down about half of what it used to be. So because of Dawson Knox being out, they're running more 3 wide receiver sets. So Gabe Davis over receptions, possibly under yards, is maybe a decent look for his side of things. The Bengals do give up yards, but they do bend not break in the red zone. And also, I would like to shout out the Bengals linebackers as the best in the league, because they went up against probably the best in the league last week, and they looked far, far better than them. Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt. But yeah, I'm weirdly confident. I think that it could be a big game. Joe Burrow tends to step up in primetime games, and the stadium is going to be black and orange stripes in the crowd. They're organising everyone to wear the correct colours in the correct seating areas, so they're going to put on a show at least, and hopefully they'll put on a show on the field. I do think it's going to be quite high scoring.
How fucking sad is that? Anyway,
I knew he was going to moan at that.
I'm in row L, seat 54. I've got to wear black.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus Christ, get me out of here. I thought you were going to say, like before the game when like they put some paper up or something.
The tifo things.
Yeah. Anyway,
no, all game is going to be there, and they do put on a light show as well nowadays. They're going pure Crystal Palace and State of Sunderland and all that kind of guff. So yeah, it'll be a good game. It'll be should be quite high scoring, and I think the Bengals win. That was my bet, was just Bengals straight out win. Although I do like Liam's.
Yeah, I am a bit surprised that the line isn't a 2.5. I'm not necessarily saying it should ever get to 3, but I think they're giving the Bills kind of a bit too much credit or a bit too much name. Or maybe it's the opposite. They're maybe not giving the Bengals enough credit, because I enjoy watching the 49ers get absolutely demolished, because they demolish us each year. So it's actually nice to see a team, beat all over the 49ers. But I don't think the Bengals are getting quite much credit, and maybe this is the game where it will kind of flip. So from if Bengals win like going away type stuff, they'll from next week you then maybe can't back them because it's gone too far the other way. But yeah, I mean, give me the overs. I think it'd be a high scoring game. I think Josh Allen obviously, and the Bills can obviously just put up points if things just get starting to click. And I think the Bengals, I don't think will have any troubles on offense getting the ball down the field and into the end zone. So Liam, do you feel like the same way about that?
Yeah, definitely. Bills are still a really, really good offense, and Josh Allen also normally steps up in prime time. To his detriment, half the time he'll run too much in this game and get absolutely nailed all the time. But the Bills' secondary has been really bad. The corners have been really bad this year. They can't find a corner to go opposite White. They've tried every corner they've got and traded for Rasul Douglas, who I don't know if he'll play in this game or not, but all that says to me is that the Bengals' offense would also go off. So, yeah, I love the overs. The Bills were actually favoured in this game, which is where I've got my bet from. So basically, Sky do the handicap markets, and they do a handicap and points. And it doesn't look like they've changed it from the original. So my best bet is Bengals plus 2.5 and over 47.5, which is actually what the original line opened up at. Nearly, it was 1.5 and 48.5. So yeah, I think the Bengals are going to win. I think 47.5. I'm getting an extra 1.5 as well on the line. I think it'll be 50 plus. I think this game will have more points than the Chiefs Dolphins game will. So yeah, I think it's a really good bet, and I think the Bengals are a better team than the Bills. So yeah, I think they'll win.
Yeah, that's 7-4 as well. I don't think Liam specified the price, but yeah, Bengals plus 2.5 over 47.5. We'll go through. In fact, we've still got Monday Night Football. 7-4 for that. Yeah, I do like that indeed. And then rounding us off. Probably won't be as high scoring as some of the other games that we've just gone through, but you never know. It's the Chargers. The Chargers like to do funny things. The Chargers traveling to MetLife to play the Jets. They are 3.5 point favorites. Are the Chargers 6-4 money line for the Jets, 8-15 for the Chargers. Total points here over under 39.5. Liam, your thoughts on this one?
Well, one of my friends always says that it doesn't matter who the Jets are playing, it'll be a one-score game. Whether they play an awful team like the Giants or they play a good team like the Chiefs, it'll just be a one-score game. And I think their defense is playing that well. The Chargers should win. They've kind of got themselves back in a good position with how some of the other AFC results have gone and the fact that some teams like the Steelers are winning games. You'd still fancy the Chargers if they get through later in the season to win more than a team like the Steelers. So they kind of need to win this game to keep in the playoff hunt. So yeah, I do fancy the Chargers to win. I won't be betting 3.5 just because I do think it's either going to be a touchdown or it's going to be a last-second field goal. Chargers, I wouldn't take the 3.5 with those odds. So my best bet was -5.5. They win a lot of games by 6 with the whole go for 2 thing. And it's 5-4. So I just think 5.5 versus 3.5. I'll just take the better odds and hope that it doesn't sit in between those two. But I think the Chargers should win. Herbert should be doing enough to win this game, but I just think it could be a bit of a slow start with how good the Jets defense is.
Yeah, I think the best way to kind of say how the Jets play games is they kind of play the team and not the game. That's probably why they are so close in games, and they may rise to the levels of Kansas City's and all the other good teams that they play. But then they stoop to the levels of the Giants, and they play in a darts term would be they play the board and not the player. Play the player and not the board type thing. So, Adam, your thoughts on the game?
It's going to be awful, isn't it? It's not one I'll be staying up to watch. The Chargers are going to charge her because they always do. So I'm quite happy to take Jets plus 3.5 if that's a line available anywhere still. I think I put on our sheet Jets plus. Oh no, I did 3.5.
Yeah, Sky's 3.5.
Yeah, like as you guys are saying, it's going to be close, and the Chargers, if it's close, will probably only win by 3 if they do win. I just don't trust their offense at all, and obviously the Jets, they have some kind of magic going on. They are a poor man's Steelers basically, or a rich man's Steelers. I'm not entirely sure who I think is less deserving of the wins they've been getting recently, but they managed to get it done. So fair play to them. And obviously Aaron Rodgers might be back at the end of the season. So if they do manage to scrape in, then they might at least deserve some of the many, many, many primetime games that they've had this season.
Yeah, this is one of those games you could play 10 different times and get 10 very different results. And like you said about trust, like I can't trust myself to bet any Jets or Chargers handicaps or totals. So again, similar to like the Thursday night game tonight, where I'm just going props and managed to pick out, was it Austin Eckler over 28.5 receiving yards. I've not looked too in depth at how the Chargers are how the Jets are against the run, but they seem to be in green in fantasy circles, so they must be giving up production to the running back somehow. So I just feel like Eckler, he'll be back to kind of full health this week, and he had I think he had a decent amount of receptions last week as well, and I think he scored one to get to went into the end zone, didn't he? So I thought that was a fairly low line. I think his rushing line was around 50 as well, or something as well. But I think his rushing line was maybe a bit low because I think he'll get the majority of the work. And Kellen Moore offense is generally passing to the running back or on wheel routes or screens, and Chargers do that quite a lot as well. So I just thought that was a slightly bit low. I thought it should be maybe in the 30s. His receiving line. Let me just have a quick look at what his rushing and receiving yardage is. Because
I'd be looking the other side of the ball personally and going for Breece Hall over 70 yards. He had 76 last week in obviously a very weird game, but Dalvin Cook doesn't really exist there for him anymore. So that's the way I'd be looking. 79.5 for Eckler.
Yeah, Eckler rushing receiving 79. Yeah, probably go over there as well. But
I'll go over that as well.
Yeah,
I like the over on receptions for Keenan Allen as well. He's been good this year. Eventually, he'll get a hamstring injury and be injured. That's what Keenan does. But until he does that, they're just peppering him so many targets. I think he had like 2 games with 14 targets. So, they haven't got a line on Sky yet, but his reception line last week was 6.5. So if it's 5.5, 6.5, I fancy Keenan Allen to get that. The yardage will be harder to get because I think Jets will play bend don't break over the top, but I think Keenan will get loads of receptions.
Yeah, what's Eckler's receptions? Let's have a quick look. Austin Eckler receptions 4.5.
Donald Parham or Gerald Everett will score, depending who's playing. I didn't realise Everett wasn't going to play last week, and then Parham went and scored, so I was a little bit miffed by that. But one of the tight ends will score for the Chargers because they do every week.
Kellen Moore loves a tight end.
There you go.
Don't take that one out of context. Anyway, let's move on to handicaps for the rest of the Sunday games. If you're watching wherever you can watch it, they are scrolling along at the bottom of the screen. Liam, we'll start with your favourite handicap bet of the week.
Yeah, so mine's boring. It already was Chiefs minus 1.5.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of others I like. I like Seattle plus 5.5 against the Ravens. I think that's pretty good. I like the Texans minus 2.5 against the Bucks, and I like the one that Tim's picked as well. That you'll read down in a minute. But yeah, the Chiefs were my best one. There's a few kind of 8.5s, 3.5s, 4.5s this week. So there's some bad games. So yeah, I've gone for the Chiefs minus 1.5 is my best.
Yeah, I've gone for Philadelphia minus 2.5 because it's a Thursday. We're talking on a podcast, so I've got to go Philadelphia handicap. Yeah, Dallas games have been Dallas have been a bit weird this year in the sense that it's either a blowout for or against them. There doesn't seem to be kind of any in between, to be quite honest. And I was quite surprised at how efficiently they dealt with the Rams last week. I was quite not necessarily pleasantly surprised, but wasn't the kind of result that I was expecting. But being 9:25 or like on an evening game, there'd be a fair few eyes on this game, and it's just a prime kind of fall on your face for Mike McCarthy game. Philadelphia at home, I would have expected them to be a bit more, maybe a 3. I would have thought that they'd be begging you to take Dallas plus 3.5. I thought the line would be a 3.5 here, not 2.5. But Philadelphia I'm more confident in them squeaking out a win than I would be with Dallas. And yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a field goal game. So I'd rather trust the leg of Jake Elliott at home than I would. I know Aubrey's been really good for Dallas. I don't think he's missed a kick this season, but I think this is primed to be similar like the San Francisco game, just where Mike McCarthy's going to trip up over his size 15 clown feet and fall on his face. So give me Philadelphia minus 2.5.
Yeah, I can't argue your bet. It's just the predictability of you going against the Cowboys every week. It's it was a decent argument. Like the Eagles are arguably the best team in the league, maybe second best team in the league. So it's difficult to go against them. And yeah, less than 3 points home is very good. I was actually quite shocked at the pick I put in the sheet. Obviously, we left it a little bit late today. And I've gone for Colts minus 2.5. It was, again, fading the Panthers. Obviously, they had their win last week. So I like Gardner Minshew to tear up a very poor Panthers defense. And the Colts should be able to do enough to cover 3. I kind of said that last week with the Texans on my column, at least. And Texans shit the bed a bit. But I think this week, it'll be Minshew Mania again. Josh Downs has been my boy all season. In the prop column, you can normally get over 4.5 receptions for him, but you're probably best doing 5, 6, 7 if you can on a bit of a ladder. But yeah, for my best spread, apparently I went for Colts -2.5 to cover 3 points.
Yeah, there's a couple that don't really make too much sense to me. Baltimore -6.5 doesn't really make much sense. I'd certainly be paying up and doing +7 for Seattle. I think that'd be a high scoring game, and we'll get to total points in a minute. But I thought that line was a bit high. I know Baltimore are a decent offense and score a lot of points, but I think Geno Smith, regardless of whether it's in Baltimore or Seattle, I think we'll keep up with them a little bit. And I thought that was a tad too high. I know Deshaun Watson's not playing for Cleveland, but Clayton Tune's playing for Arizona. So Cleveland -6.5, I thought was. I'd be taking Cleveland on the handicap there because they can just.
8 now.
I was at 8 now, yeah. The defense will just take care of Arizona with Clayton Tunes at quarterback. So, and then the other one was I know the Rams got absolutely demolished last week, against Dallas, but Green Bay have not been pulling up many trees. So I'm not quite sure why they're 3.5 point favourites against the Rams. I'd take the Rams to cover a field goal there.
It's because of Stafford's thumb injury, I think.
That is also true. Yeah,
so he might play. To be fair, they haven't ruled him out, but
but Green Bay are that bad though.
Yeah, I don't mind it with the hook as well. Feels like a typical field goal game either way.
Yeah.
If Stafford's hurt.
Yeah. And again, I think it's just one of those where the bookies want you to take the Rams maybe, and obviously hope Stafford's out, and then Green Bay take the money. But again, Green Bay, I've done a few Green Bay handicap selections this year, and Green Bay have not impressed me whatsoever. So I'd be happy to take the Rams on that one. Anything else before we move to total points? No, lovely stuff. Total points then, as I'll scroll on your screen if you are watching. Adam, your favourite over-under for week 9?
Aidan O'Connell versus either Tommy DeVito or Daniel Jones. I believe Daniel Jones is getting a little healthier, but Tyrod's definitely out. Darren Waller's definitely out. So another 300 rush attempts for Saquon Barkley against Aidan O'Connell of the Raiders. Under 37.5, I think it was when I put it on the sheet. Yeah, I don't see many points in that game, frankly.
No, I agree with you. I've gone for the same. There's quite a few unders I fancy in the kind of the 30 range. If I can just get me list up here.
The other one while you're looking is Bears v Saints under 41. I was quite happy with because again, Tyson Bagent and the Saints haven't been able to complete drives this year.
Yeah, Cleveland, Arizona, 37.5 is one I'd probably go under, but that just feels like the Browns defense will get 2 touchdowns on defense. So, but yeah, that feels like an under to me. That was kind of the only other one that stuck out. Liam, your thoughts?
Yeah, so your under is another one that I like for that game with Tommy/Danny DeVito playing at quarterback. I don't mind the under in Colts Panthers either, which I think is 44, where it is 44 in places. I do think the Colts can win that game. I'd be slightly worried about the Panthers being able to score enough points, and then I do think if the Colts are winning, they'll just sit on it and run the ball. But my best bet is an over, which you should probably never do, but still, let's go for an over. Ravens Seahawks over 44.5. I think that's 2 really good offenses, to be honest.
Yeah,
and like I said, I do like the Seahawks on the spread. I could see the game going either way, but I definitely think we could get into the 50s with how Lamar's playing. The running backs for Baltimore aren't playing well, which leads to only more passing, which is good for the total. And yeah, Seattle's offense is playing really, really well. And Geno's throwing the ball deeper this year down the field. So yeah, I fancy the over in that game.
Yeah, unless Seattle's defense kind of tries and kind of stifles Baltimore, I think it's going to be that kind of game where Baltimore just operate as they do, and then Seattle will elevate their game to keep playing. They'll be chasing for the whole game, and I think the just scores will keep going up. So yeah, no, I like that. That was one I considered as well. But yeah, there we go.
The Gus Bus would like a word on you.
I was going to say, how many touchdowns does he need to score in a game for you to say that their run
3
game
touchdowns last week, and you're slagging them off.
Touchdown's all right because Lamar's there, so it's easier, but they don't run very efficiently. It's like 1.5 yards on first down if it's not Lamar. So that's what I meant. Sorry to Gus if he's listening.
Yeah. Sorry, Gus Bus. Right, let's have a quick recap of all of our bets then. So prime times, Thursday night football, over 19.5 receiving yards for me, over 1.5 pass TDs for Levis for Adam, and then Liam's gone, sorry, that's 2-1 there for Adam. Liam's gone Henry and Harris 50 plus rush yards at 13-8. Sunday night football between the Bills and the Bengals, I've gone over 49.5 points. Adam's gone Bengals money line, and Liam's gone for Cincinnati plus 2.5, over 47.5 points at 7-4. And then finally on Monday night football, Eckler over 28.5 receiving yards at 10-11, and then Adam's gone plus 3.5 for the Jets, and Liam's gone minus 5.5 for the Chargers. So there's a little window there where you could both win. So that's nice, isn't it? And then finally the best bet trebles for the handicap. So I've gone Philadelphia minus 2.5. Adam's gone Indianapolis minus 2.5, and Liam, you minus 1.5. I think you can get now, can't you? So it's minus 2.5 when I put it on the thing, but yeah, so minus 1.5 if you can grab it. And then total points, me and Adam have gone for under 37.5. Vegas Raiders against the Giants, and then over 44.5 for Baltimore, Seattle for Liam. And then touchdown scores, we didn't really talk about much because there's not really much going on in terms of prices as per usual. But Darrell Henderson for me for the Rams, I think again, regardless of whether Stafford plays or not, the Green Bay defense against the run is not that great. So I think he'll be able to get into the end zone. Josh Downs, Adam's boy, as he put it, and then Liam's gone for a bit of Kelsey Hill double for the game that he's going to watch. So obviously he's hoping that comes to fruition. There we go. Yeah. Any other TD scores that anyone wants to point out?
I would say Josh Downs is 2-1. Paddy Power has got a few prices, so yeah, I was happy with 2-1 for him. I'll check out the other ones now.
Yeah, Kelsey Hill's 9-4 on the double, but I think someone in another group I'm in said that they've got a request to bet with better odds, but I haven't checked that. But yeah, maybe worth checking the request to bet to see if you get a better odds than that. And then I've mentioned him before, but Zach Charbonnet is still 3-1 in that game for the Ravens Seahawks game, and they do rotate running backs. And Jawan Johnson is 11-4 for the Saints against the Bears, and Jawan Johnson loves a touchdown. He's healthy now, so I feel like the Saints will be in the red zone a couple of times, and Derek Carr loves a tight end, so go for Jawan.
Hill and Kelsey, one receiving touchdowns, 12-5. So it's
hope you don't get Tyreek Hill rushing end around.
Yeah, I'd rather take the 9-4 to include rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, so would I. Yeah, I can see that happening. I can even see Kelsey doing a stupid QB sneak just to excite the fans. So yeah, maybe I'll go for 9.
Is Tay heading to Germany this week, or is she on her tour?
She's on the American leg of her tour, I believe, according to the Around the NFL podcast.
Yeah, great, excellent. Oh well, because I don't believe I saw her last week at the Denver game, so she's not the greatest girlfriend, is she?
Just let her down. If she's there, I'll let you know. I'll take a selfie with her for you, Tim. Be fine.
I don't want it. I don't care. Like,
well, for your wife, sorry.
Right. Yeah, more, yeah. the newly crowned Kansas City Chief fan. There we go. Never mind. Anyway, that will do it for today's show. Thank you all for joining us. So good luck with all your bets, and say if you are going to the Germany game, try and find Liam in his Kansas City Chiefs attire. Who are you going with, Liam?
What, to the game? Myself.
Oh, just going by yourself? Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm meeting some of the Arrowhead Abroad guys over there, but my ticket is by myself. I managed to get a face value one off a fan.
Oh, nice.
That couldn't go anymore, so that was quite nice to do that rather than them trying to stitch me for a profit. So, yeah, I'm going on my own. On the plane, I might be wearing my Burrowhead My Ass jumper just for Adam. So we'll see.
Well, I hope you have a fun time with Phil McCann.
Yeah,
he is going to be there.
Follow at _Liam Horsley if you want to see his escapades over in Deutschland. But yeah, good luck with all your bets, everyone. Please gamble responsibly. We'll see you next week to look at week 10. Bye bye.